Hello everyone, Jolene here from Bookworm Adventure Girl. Welcome to the 50th episode of Mondays with Margaret, even though I know it's not Monday. Next Monday is the last Monday of 2021, and I will be finishing up this series on that day. So in order to make that happen, this is a bonus Mondays with Margaret in the middle of the week. The book I'm going to be talking about today is one of Atwood's graphic novels. I am not a graphic novel fan. So when I was planning this series and I saw her graphic novels on the list, my first reaction was not to include them. But I had included everything else, and I know that comics have been significant for Atwood. Comics have definitely influenced her since her childhood, so I included one. And Atwood has published a few graphic novels. Angel Catbird in 2016, Angel Catbird Volumes 2 and 3 in 2017, and then the book we are going to be talking about today, War Bears, which was published in 2018. War Bears takes place in Canada in the 1940s during World War II, and it attempts to tell the story or history of comics in Canada. Al Zurakowski is an artist and gets a job working for Gloriana Topper, and Al creates the character of Our Sonnet, who is a woman who turns into a werebear. Now, like some of Atwood's novels, this is a story within a story, and the story is really about the creators of the comics and not necessarily the comic hero. So although that is the story within the story, the main story is illustrated in color. It is illustrated by Ken Stacey, and Atwood explains that Stacey has interest in the war and uses real, authentic weapons and war paraphernalia in his drawings. So if he's drawing a tank, for example, he doesn't just draw a generic tank. He knows everything about that tank right down to its serial number. So I did think that that was very interesting. And I will show you some of the drawings, maybe to do some of the color drawings. So we can see that. This is the main character, Al. That's his boss. Let's see, maybe I'll show you another one here. Here we go. Then the story within the story is in black and white, because at the time all of the Canadian comics were black and white. During the war, there was a shortage on pretty much everything but on paper, and having a comic that would still be successful and make money during the war was pretty incredible. So here are some of the black and white pictures, so you can see the difference. Let's see if I can find another spot. Here we go. So it's not surprising that there would be characters turning into animals. We've seen this a lot with Atwood's work and with this graphic novel. The animals are also symbolic of who had power in the war. So bears were a symbol of Russia. And the inspiration for this story came when Atwood was one of, I don't know how many, but several authors commissioned by the Globe and Mail to write a story about an important date in the history of Canada. And Atwood chose VE Day because not only was it an important date historically for the war, but it was also when the comic book industry that existed at the time in Canada came to an end. So I felt like as a story, this wasn't the most compelling. I did learn about Canada's comic history, which I really didn't know before. And the characters definitely had their own story and their own voice. Some of the dialogue for me was a bit weird. At the end of the book is the original story that the Globe and Mail had published. And when I read that, I could see how the comic was inspired by it and where some of the dialogue had come from. The themes in Warbears are, themes that we've seen throughout other Atwood's work. For this one, it's mainly the war, but within that, there's the fact that women were now working in jobs because of the war. So the boss in the comic is a woman, and there are some diverse characters. There could be an argument for identity as a theme as well. I'm glad I read this as far as the Mondays with Margaret series goes. If you are a real fan of comics and you have to have everything out there, then this might be something to go check out. But I think that this would rate very low on my Margaret Atwood recommendations. And I don't think that I would even rate it higher for a real comic lover or graphic novel lover. It certainly didn't make me a graphic novel lover, and I think there's probably a lot of comics and graphic novels out there that are much better. Let me know if you have read Warbears or any of Margaret Atwood's other graphic novels. I'd love to hear your thoughts. If you haven't read any of Atwood's graphic novels, let me know if you do read graphic novels and if that's something that you enjoy doing. What are some of your favorites? I look forward to chatting with you in the comments. Thanks again for watching. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day, and don't forget to make every day an adventure.